Most coverage of President Trump's decision to lead the United Nations Human Rights Council characterizes it as an example of the administration's hostility to international organizations, but nothing could be further from the truth. The decision to lead the council rests on its record of anti-Israel bias and the consistent failure of it to address serious human rights situations. And one of the biggest reasons for these failures is because human rights abusers actually sit on the council. Currently, 14 of the 47 members, including Burundi, China, Cuba, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela, are ranked not free by the independent watchdog organization Freedom House. This is the highest number of not free countries in the Council's history, indicating that the majority of the UN General Assembly, which elects countries to sit on the Council, sees no problem with electing human rights violators to the UN's highest human rights body. Unsurprisingly, the Council is notably uninterested in human rights situations in some of the world's most oppressive countries. For instance, the Human Rights Council has never passed a condemnatory resolution on China, Cuba, Russia, Saudi Arabia, or Zimbabwe, despite their terrible human rights records. So where does the Council focus? On Israel. Since it was created in 2006, nearly half of all Human Rights Council resolutions condemning countries for human rights violations have focused on Israel. No one is saying that Israel is perfect, but the notion that it is the source of half of the world's human rights problems is absurd. The Council's fixation on Israel is shameful. Many supporters of the Council point to the Universal Periodic Review, a process where every country's human rights record is scrutinized as evidence of its usefulness and objectivity. But according to UPR Info, the country that has received the most recommendations on how to improve its human rights practices is the United States. That's right. The Human Rights Council's process has concluded that the United States has more need of human rights advice than Cuba, Iran, and Sudan. Israel is also in the top 25 naturally, right ahead of China. By spending exponentially more time in Israel than on North Korea or Syria, the Council only underscores its politicization and bias. Leaving the Council does not mean that the United States is abandoning its support for human rights. Other avenues exist to promote human rights. That's where the United States should focus its time and effort.